Hey comic book fans, today we're talking about Radiant Black issue 43. Now if you was there for the last issue, the last video I did on the last Radiant Black book, the ending of that I would say made a lot of people's jaw drop at the reveal. This book is pretty much showing us how it got to that point, because Nathan has made his way back into the story after being gone for so long. We've been seeing everything from Marshall's point of view, him being Radiant Black and trying to be a hero, and now Nathan is back. And honestly, my opinion on this is pretty positive, because Nathan is a really good character. He is, I would say, the textbook superhero archetype. Just what kind of person he is and the morals he has and how he operates, and just who he is a textbook perfect person to be a superhero. And he's made his way back into the story, and you see he's holding that little bracelet, right, that little ring, and it's pretty much the technology from the Catalyst War of one of the other beings. I forgot what his name was, but he's been holding on to that all this time. Now, one thing I do hate in this story is that Nathan comes across, I believe it was his ex, and when she lied to him about the story and the guy just wanted the story, like, she caused so much mayhem with that, and I hate her, and I don't know why he went back, even went off of any suggestion or recommendation she would have had. I legit want her to be like out of this story altogether, because she doesn't add anything to this story. And I would have thought that Nathan would have had more brain cells and to just ignore her altogether, but that's neither here or there, I guess, at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just like, that's just part of the story that makes my eyes roll. But we see as Nathan progresses, and he's keeping up with the news, and he's keeping up with Marshall, because he's seen everything that happens while having this job, right? While having this new job. Now, here's the funny thing. You see this comic book that he's holding right now, it's called Ordinary Gods. That's a legit actual comic book series that I probably will be talking about later on this channel. That's a legit comic book that's already been out, already written. And it's funny how they implemented that into this world, along with like the creators themselves, and a lot of the actual facts behind that series. I wonder what drove them to use particularly that series, but this is just a part of something that Nathan is working on, and we see him progressing in his writing career, right? Because that's something that Nathan is still working on. When this entire series first started, Radiant Black issue 1, he was struggling and pretty much failed at his writing career. And now we are at this point to where he is able to discuss, he's able to work on a script, he's able to actually have a job. And we see him trying to balance that while also keeping up with what Marshall was doing, while also trying to keep up with the Radiant Black side of things, right? And what this story is doing, it's showing us that he's really trying to focus on just his career, be a normal person, be a good friend, etc. But it's kind of like, I would say, in a way, Lord of the Rings, to where he has this power, right? He has this thing in his possession, in his hand, that you could tell he really wants to use, but he's holding himself back from that because he's trying to accomplish and move forward with everything else in his life. And that's really commendable, right? It shows that he does have restraint, and it shows that he is very serious about what he wants to do, the ordinary dreams a person would have, right? That he's not ready to throw all that away or put it on the sideline to be a superhero again, because Nathan did have that time where he was a superhero. He did have that moment in time where he was that guy, and then it moved away from him and he just went back to living a normal life, and he transitioned from that, I would say, pretty well, right? Those are details that I think are important. But it wasn't until today to where the police was trying to stop this guy from the bank. He had these electronic upgrades, right? And when he saw this, he quickly put on the bracelet itself, and activated and went straight into action and become a superhero again. And you can tell that he's not doing this like as a career. He's not being a hero as a career. You can tell that he's doing this just when it's needed. And I think when the transition is going to go back to, that's going to be something that he's going to focus on more as time goes on, because he sees, this technology that this guy had, and so he takes that, and we see him, do his investigations, and we see him, trying to find out where the heck this came from on his part of the town, because this is like a few states over. Like he's nowhere near Marshall, right? He's in LA doing this, and it just comes to show that the Catalyst War didn't just happen. It didn't just start in Chicago. That there's little tricklets happening throughout the state, and we see him. And honestly, this is a very different I would say thing for Nathan, just based on the powers and abilities that he's working with, because he's more of a superhero type guy. And this new part that he's doing, this new thing he's doing, it's more like a low-level vigilante combat more style, right? So it's a little bit, I would say, out of character for somebody like Nathan, but I think he is doing it very well. We're going to see more actually of how Nathan makes this new transition, because he tweaks the technology so it fits him better, and now he is going to go back over to where Marshall is, and they even show a little bit of him actually training. So he's going to become more of a combative street level character with advanced technology. And we see him progressing in that alone, and they show us that hey, this guy's actually going to be a pretty good superhero, right? He's going to come back, be able to transition back actually pretty easily, and we see him leaving his home once again just to go back. And I really hope he's here to stay this time. I really hope that he has a part to play, an important part to play, because I feel like Nathan's been through a lot and he deserves this. And that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like and share and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.